Single mom sat alone at the ceremony, until the CEO appeared and whispered, "Pretend we're a couple." The auditorium buzzed with chatter and camera flashes. Families huddled together, proud smiles glowing as graduates prepared to walk across the stage. Banners draped from the rafters, "Congratulations, Class of the Year." In the back row, however, one woman sat by herself, hands nervously twisting the strap of her worn-out purse. Her name was Emily Carter. A single mom who had worked 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. She had waited years for this day, her son Daniel's graduation. But as she looked around at other families, a hollow ache gnawed at her chest. Rows upon rows were filled with mothers, fathers, siblings, grandparents, all cheering, laughing, taking pictures together. Meanwhile, she sat alone, clutching a bouquet of daisies she'd saved up to buy, her only way to tell Daniel, "I'm proud of you." Emily wasn't ashamed of being a single mother. She was proud of the life she had scraped together from the ashes of heartbreak. But moments like this, public, celebratory, communal, always made her feel small. As though the world reminded her, "You are missing something." She shifted in her seat, trying to fight back tears. She had promised herself she wouldn't cry today. Daniel deserved joy, not a mother hiding behind tissues. That's when it happened. From the side entrance, a tall man in a tailored navy suit slipped into the room. His presence was magnetic, people turned their heads instinctively. His eyes scanned the crowded rows, until they landed on Emily. He walked straight toward her. Emily's heart raced. She didn't recognize him. His face looked familiar, like someone she'd glimpsed in the news or on magazine covers, but she couldn't place him. He leaned down, just enough for only her to hear, and whispered, "Pretend we're a couple." Emily blinked. "What?" Before she could speak, he slid smoothly into the seat beside her, draped an arm casually over the back of her chair, and gave the room a confident smile. Whispers rippled through the audience. People recognized him instantly. It was Alexander Grant, the CEO of Grant Industries. Billionaire, philanthropist, one of the most talked about men in the country. Emily froze. Why would someone like him sit beside me? Why would he say that? Her confusion must have shown, because he leaned closer again, voice soft but steady. "Trust me. Just go along with it." At first, Emily thought it was some kind of cruel joke. But then she noticed, just a few rows up, a cluster of photographers pointing cameras discreetly toward the crowd. And she saw a woman, elegantly dressed, glaring daggers at Alexander. Something clicked. Whoever that woman was, Alexander clearly didn't want to give her the satisfaction of seeing him alone. So he had chosen Emily, the forgotten single mom in the back row. Emily forced a small smile, though her pulse thundered in her ears. "Okay," she whispered back. And just like that, they became a pair in the eyes of everyone watching. At first, Emily worried this was just some rich man's game. But as the ceremony began, something shifted. When Daniel's name was called, and he strode proudly across the stage, Emily couldn't help it. She jumped to her feet, clapping wildly, tears spilling down her cheeks. Alexander stood too. He clapped just as fiercely, even whistled. Then, to Emily's shock, he leaned down and whispered, "That's your boy." Her voice cracked. "Yes. My son." There was no mockery in his eyes. No pity. Just genuine admiration. "He's lucky," Alexander said softly, "to have a mom like you." The words pierced straight through her heart. For years, Emily had wondered if Daniel ever felt cheated, not having a father at his graduations, birthdays, or milestones. But here was a man the world looked up to, telling her that what she gave was enough. More than enough. When the ceremony ended, families gathered outside for photos. Emily tried to slip away, not wanting to burden Alexander any longer. But he stayed at her side, greeting Daniel as though they'd known each other for years. Daniel looked between them, confusion flickering across his face. Mom, who is this? Before Emily could answer, Alexander extended his hand. Just a friend of your mom's. One who's very proud of you. Daniel shook his hand, eyebrows raised, but smiled anyway. That night, when the crowd had thinned, Emily finally asked the question that burned inside her. Why me? Out of everyone, why did you sit with me? Alexander hesitated. His confident facade slipped for the first time. He glanced at the ground, then back at her. Because I know what it feels like to sit alone. Emily's breath caught. My father left when I was 12, Alexander continued. Graduations, birthdays, school events, my mother always sat by herself. People whispered about her. I hated it. And when I saw you tonight, I just couldn't let your son look back and see you sitting there all alone. Not on his big day. Emily's eyes blurred with tears. She wanted to speak, to thank him, but her throat closed up. He gave her a gentle smile. You deserve to be seen. So did he. News of Alexander's appearance spread quickly. Photos of him sitting beside Emily flooded social media. Rumors swirled. Who was the mystery woman? Was the CEO dating a single mom? Emily feared the worst, that she would be mocked, dragged into gossip. But instead, something unexpected happened. People admired the story. Mothers around the country wrote messages like, he reminded the world that single moms are strong, not broken. Daniel, for the first time, looked at his mother not as the woman who lacked something, but as the woman who had given him everything. And Emily realized something too. Sometimes, kindness doesn't come in the form of money, gifts, or promises. Sometimes, it's as simple as someone choosing not to let you sit alone. Epilogue. Months later, Emily returned to her routine, working at the local library, caring for Daniel as he prepared for college. She didn't expect to see Alexander again. But one crisp autumn morning, he walked through the library doors. No cameras, no entourage. Just him, holding 2 cups of coffee. I was hoping, he said with a boyish grin, that we wouldn't have to pretend this time. Emily laughed through her tears. Because in that moment, she understood. What began as a whispered act of kindness had blossomed into something real. Something that proved, no one is ever truly alone when compassion finds its way to them.